Most foodborne illnesses happen when bacteria, viruses, parasites, and toxins, not to mention other microbial beasties, use our food to get into us. They can, however, be stymied by judicious application of the 4 C's. Contain, clean, cook, and chill. Simple concepts all. The trick is to apply them strategically across every phase of meal construction, beginning with the market. Now, assuming that your market has good purchasing and handling practices of their own, it is your job to maintain the containment and chilling that they have no doubt worked hard to establish. Now, here is a map of a standard mega mart. These aisles contain cans, boxes, and dried goods that are not temperature sensitive, so we'll hit those first. Then we'll work what's called the ring, where most markets display their produce, dairy and eggs, meat, and seafood, which just so happens to be the order we will follow. Finally, on the way to the register, we will move through the frozen food corridor. Of course, if your market has a different design, you can ask the manager for a floor diagram so that you can determine the safest route of acquisition. Having procured our dry goods, our produce, and even our cured packaged meat products, i.e. bacon, we are now ready to hunt down our fresh meat, so to speak. I am after a Cornish or rock game hen, which is defined by the federal government as an immature chicken, generally 5 to 6 weeks of age, weighing not more than 2 pounds, ready to cook weight, which was prepared from a Cornish chicken or the progeny of a Cornish chicken crossed with another breed of chicken. Would you stop that? No matter how small it is, it's still a chicken, and it's safe to assume our old nemesis, Salmonella, or perhaps the emerging pathogen, Campylobacter jejuni, will be present, which is why markets must be careful to clean, contain, and chill. Now, the clean part, well, that's pretty easy to tell. Just look around. If the case is dirty, then you can only imagine what might be going on back there where you can't see. This looks good. Containment is pretty much about packaging. Whether they are bags from the factory or rewraps in the store, they should feature tight seals, no juice leaking out. As for chilling, well, whether they're on ice or in an open case like this, you want the surface of each bird to be at or below 40 degrees Fahrenheit, which of course is the temperature above which bacteria can go crazy and get frisky. Now, if you're really paranoid like me, you'll dig deep up into the back of the case where the coldest specimens await. This looks good. Containment continues in your cart. I always place raw fish, poultry, and meats in the very bottom where most people stash their cat food. I don't want to take any chances of cross-contamination. Yes, cross-contamination is scary, but proper containment practices will greatly reduce the likelihood of nasties migrating out of the meat and, taking up residence in your greens. The freezer case is always my last stop. Here, if you want to see a temperature well below 0, 10 below. Very nice. Packages that show no signs of damage and foods that show no signs of having been thawed and then refrozen. Big chunky ice crystals are always a bad sign, especially in IQF or individual quick frozen products like these onions. These are good. Whenever I go on a big grocery binge, I always bring along a cooler loaded up with cold packs to keep things nice and chilly. The raw meats bagged, of course, should go on the bottom, and the produce up on top. There, everybody's happy and safe. When you get home, remember, cross-contamination can happen in your refrigerator as easily as anywhere else. So careful containment is especially important in here. All raw meat should go in the very, very, very bottom level. If that means a drawer, even better. Foods to be served raw can go up above that, and containers of cooked foods and leftovers and whatnot should go above that, at the very top. You're not the lady of the refrigerator?
Stunning observation. I'm the refrigerator gnome.
Refrigerator gnome?
Yes. And I'm here to make my annual inspection.
Refrigerator gnome?
Is there an echo in here? Are you simple?
Simple?
Where's your refrigerator thermometer?
Right here.
Good grief, man. It's 41 degrees in here and I'm roasting.
What? 41? Oh.
Haven't you ever heard of the danger zone?
Of course I've heard of the danger zone. Hey, I'm the guy who teaches other people about the danger zone.
Oh, hey, never mind.
Where'd you go? Where'd that little creep go? Hey!
Oh, Although bacteria can live in a wide range of temperatures, they grow and reproduce rapidly between 40 and 140 degrees Fahrenheit.
Which is why you should always keep your refrigerator set between 35 and 38 degrees and your freezer below 0. You gonna inspect that one too?
Different? No. When's the last time you cleaned your refrigerator coils? Now's no time for meditating. The coils are on the back of many refrigerators, but on some side-by-sides, they're behind the kick plate at the bottom. Where are yours? They're on the top, of course. So take a bottle brush to them or vacuum them off, you simpleton. Cheerio, moron.
Well, you little creep. Come back here. Come here. Riddle me this, kids. What's the first step to any cooking process? I'll give you a hint. It isn't cooking. Ask the CDC, the WHO, the FDA, the USDA, the FBI, the CIA, the PTA, or the 4-H Club, and they'll tell you that good food safety starts with proper hand washing, which can remove dirt, dead skin cells, oils, and whatnot that microbial beasties thrive on. So plenty of soap and plenty of warm water. Above all, you need to take your time, okay? Count to 30. Nice and slowly before rinsing. By the way, research has shown that antibacterial soaps are no better than the regular old-fashioned kind when it comes to getting your mitts good and clean. They may actually help bacteria develop resistances to antibacterial drugs. Now, rinsing, and notice using my arm to turn the water off just in case that is dirty. When it comes to drying, although I admit to keeping around this attractive fez monkey hand towel, it's just for ornamentation. Real drying, usually done with single-use paper towels, just to keep everything nice and clean. Now, it is time to cook. Whenever I'm handling raw meat, I like to clean up as soon as possible. If you don't, any new food to hit the counter, or tool for that matter, will be even more in danger of... Of course, clean is good, which is why it is one of the 4 C's. And soap or detergent, water, and a scrubbing device will go a long way towards removing the visible soil that we beasties cling to. But sanitizing, well, that's something else altogether. According to the EPA, to sanitize means to... sanitize, to reduce bacterial presence by 99.9%. Of course, sanitize is not the same thing as sterilize, which means... sterilize is to reduce bacterial presence by 99.999%. That is a 3-logarithm reduction. Which wouldn't sound practical to me, even if I understood what he just said. Now, sanitizing is easy, and odds are you've probably got everything you need already in your kitchen. Sodium hypochlorite, the active ingredient in modern bleach, is a very, very powerful oxidizing agent, which is capable of just kind of blowing up the cell walls of bacteria and even some viruses. And it's very, very potent stuff. Just a quarter teaspoon mixed into a cup of water, that's a tablespoon per gallon, would be enough to do away with most kitchen nasties. Kind of like that. Sorry. Anyway, I mix up my sanitizer and keep it in a spritzer bottle like this, not only for ease of application, but because keeping it contained will make it last longer. This will remain potent for up to a week. If you were to put it just in an open container, you'd have to replace it every single day. Now, to use it, just spritz on any clean, non-porous surface and just let it dry. No buffing necessary. Now, let's get back to those hens, shall we? Look up the word cook in the dictionary, and it says to prepare food for eating by applying heat. Now, in light of this revelation, would it not be reasonable to assume that one of the cook's most powerful tools would be the thermometer? Now, here are a few of mine. It's my travel kit, so to speak. I'd love to take you on a long, loving tour of each and every one, but our time is limited, so we will concern ourselves only with instant read thermometers with digital readouts that are not meant to be left in the food during cooking. Now, there are 2 basic styles that you should be familiar with. The first uses a device called a thermistor. Now, if you were to look inside the probe, you would see a ceramic semiconductor bonded into the tip with temperature-sensitive epoxy. This type of thermometer is very stout, robust. It's relatively accurate and extremely inexpensive. The downside is, well, since the thermistor itself is relatively bulky, the probes are wide. It can leave gaping wounds in your food. Also, the thermistor itself is usually at least 1/3 of an inch up from the tip, making it not so good for temping shallow foods like, say, a fish fillet. Not So, thermocouples, the second variety, which relies on a voltage differential created by heat between two fine wires in the very, very tip of the probe. Now, thermocouples are extremely fast and extraordinarily accurate. Welcome to the Great American Grill site, home of family fun, fine food, and unfortunately, foodborne illness. What's the problem? Well, I'll tell you what the problem is. The problem? Men. That's right. It's us. Inside, sure, we can be all civilized and clean, but you get us out here in all this fresh air and we revert to the dirty little primates that we are. But that's all over now because the 4 C's have come to town. Let's start with cleaning. American men, we're pretty bad about keeping our grills filthy, and that is only going to invite bacteria and whatnot to the party. So, a good polishing. Also, we need one area for our raw goods and another area for our cooked goods. Double up on the tools, both raw and cooked. Down below, I like containment. Not only an empty trash can, but some sanitizer and a cooler to keep my hens chilled. Now, last but not least, we will require a thermometer to know when the cooking has been properly done.